6:05, Mr. Chairman.
6:05, call the meeting of the Board of Assessors to open, and will be taped by the West Bridgewater Community TV.
Mr. Chairman, just on the list of appointments, no one is coming this evening. One attorney called about 10 minutes ago to say that he had something come up, so he won't be able to make it. And the other attorney I hadn't heard back from. I had slotted 3 times, 2 that I was expecting.
Yeah.
And neither one of them going to make it. So you will not have any taxpayer representatives this
Is
evening.
this stuff, I didn't pay attention to the list, is this stuff on the docket?
Pending appellate taxpayer cases, yes.
Yeah, and one question on that. Is my pal still working up, Alan Gold? He's part-time?
He's still there.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know.
Speak with
Yeah,
him from time to
yeah,
time.
he's helpful, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman. As far as my report goes, I think I notified the board last week about your schedule for a meeting with the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen on your budget.
Yeah, was it March or something? No, it's early, I mean,
Yeah,
the schedule's
I
out
printed
early this
copies
year.
of the schedule for you.
Yeah.
They're in your packet.
Thanks.
And
Okay.
the only other thing I
This is
have
my
to
call.
report on
They can have it.
is the vacant position that the board discussed with the town administrator last week. The job was posted today. It was posted at 9:26 this morning. I've received almost 75 applications for the job.
Was it just
Since
on the town
1926.
website, or was it somewhere else?
It's on a social media site called Indeed.
Okay.
And evidently it's a very popular site.
Mhm.
It's also posted in Town Hall, and I believe it's on the town website, but I haven't checked that, but I believe it is.
75
Yeah, I think I
for
saw
day
it
one?
on there.
And it will be posted with Mass Municipal Association, and I will send it to the Mass Association of Assessing Officers and the Plymouth County Association of Assessing Officers.
I want to say the following, that, because David mentioned that, the MMA. And, you know, obviously, I don't know what the cost is, but it's not cost effective. That type of
It's
job.
not going in the newsletter, Mr. Chairman.
That job doesn't go into that.
It's
That
just
job's
going on the
about
website.
department heads, yeah.
It's just
Right,
going on
yeah.
electronically.
But you've seen the site, it's all about, you know, town managers, accountants, all that stuff.
That's true.
Police chiefs, that stuff.
So I will begin reviewing the applications tomorrow.
Okay.
And I
And we
will
received how many?
approximately 75 since 9/26.
Ah,
I mean, I couldn't keep up with them. Just printing them, numbering them, stamping.
as opposed, last year it was what, 44, 74, 54, 44?
No, he's talking about the applications.
For the
Oh, I thought
job.
you were talking about the abatement applications.
For the
Oh,
job.
okay.
For the job. So I will keep the board apprised of the progress. I met with the Human Resources Director today and a representative of the union today, just to go over the hiring process with them. We really didn't have any issues. We had a discussion about job descriptions in general, which will be addressed going forward. But obviously, this is a part-time position.
Yeah, I had some thoughts on that, Mel, we can discuss that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that I did not bring up last week, it was my oversight. I spoke with Donna Cotter, who's obviously retired, about coming back and training, continuing to train Tammy. But I wanted to present that to the board for your discussion and your consideration. We had a discussion about the rate of pay, and she wanted $50 per hour, and I made the town administrator aware of that. He doesn't believe that that's justified in light of the fact that her rate of pay when she retired was $32 and change. I haven't talked to Donna about that, but I just wanted to get some feedback from the board as to whether you think that would be your recommendation.
I haven't really given much thought. We can bring it up at a later time.
Okay, I can bring it up next week. Oh, excuse me, 2 weeks.
It's,
Well, we probably should bring it up sooner than later, though. Just so if we're gonna do something, we can get on it sooner instead of Tammy getting more and more buried.
yeah, I hate to give it the okay now, or not give it the, either one, and then maybe change directions on it. I'm not really ready to. make a
That's
decision.
reasonable. I mean, I know I'm just presenting this for the first time. If you want to give us some consideration, if the board might want to meet next week, just for that purpose, you could consider doing that rather than 2 weeks from now.
What type of, with your time constraints on the permits and the pending ATB cases, which are very important, there's a lot of liability there, and the abatement applications. Are you gonna fight, is this job, diving into trying to hire a part-time gal? I know she's new with Linda's, is it gonna consume a lot of your time? In other words, are you gonna have some time to spend with Tammy too, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to divide my time equally between what I have to get done to backfill what Donna would have been doing and to spend some time with Tammy and to review job applications.
But, we have a couple big cases coming up shortly that, I don't know if they're gonna, we can talk about that whenever, I don't know whether they stand on
We can talk
contingencies.
about the cases in executive session. I would recommend that, Mr. Chairman. But in general, we're plugging along right now, and obviously we'd like to hire somebody as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Which is why I thought it was a good idea that you recommended we post any applications received prior to February 17th will be given preference.
What's that, 14 days, or?
Yeah, less than that.
Well, I think you should still
Maybe
try
we
to.
get lucky and hire somebody that's, knows the job, has done it before.
Yeah. That'd be nice, it'd be, maybe like an older person coming down, or,
One thought, Mr. Chairman, I could communicate to Donna that $50 an hour is high, and that maybe if she wanted to consider her current rate or some other rate, she might not be interested, is what I'm suggesting. So
Yeah, let's leave that open for
I
now.
can give you
Yeah.
some more feedback after I talk to
Right.
her.
Well, I think you should try to find some happy medium. So then at least there's more for us to discuss.
What I'm talking about here is, on those job things, is the duties she's gonna perform in the next couple of months. Is she gonna, show us something that's gonna be done in August, or is it stuff done just this time of year? You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of work to do with each particular, portion of the year, depending on the task. So, right now, receiving the applications and, getting out the formal list and, all that good stuff. As opposed to, I don't know what, on July 1st with the 653 stuff or the permits, So you might want to spend a few minutes and see, what takes place now, how she can benefit by that.
Sure.
Because obviously Donna's knowledge is second to none, in my opinion. I've dealt with many head clerks and clerks and stuff like that, and she certainly knows her job, better than anybody.
Well, that's a good suggestion. I have a handle on the applications for abatement. I've gone through all of them once already. This is also the exemption period and the chapter land period. Tammy's done an excellent job of preparing the chapter land application, so that's pretty much.
My point was,
yep, I get your point.
in other words, if it's something she needs training on, it might not be a task till the middle of April.
Yeah. If it's not immediate,
Right, you don't want it because
the point.
The problem I have with the job, and I've always had it, is that you guys, we do certain stuff, then you don't see it for another year. Like that's why in our 101 course, there's a whole volume of stuff to go through, and they allow you for an open book exam for that very reason. You gotta know where to look them up and stuff, but there's so much going on at different phases, depending on what it is. I don't want to train Tammy on something that's going to happen September 1st. I mean, it would have some good, but. So let's talk about that and see where we want to go in that. I don't want to make a decision
I'll
right
do some
now.
more evaluation on that, and I'll send an email out to the board.
All right, so you're saying then that we're all caught up on everything in there?
Not caught up on everything. I'm thinking out loud as to where we are right now.
Because I know
And I'll think more about what needs to be done immediately, as opposed to your point as to what doesn't need to be done immediately, and therefore, is there a need for training?
What concerns me is for Assessor Bunker is that the fact that I made a statement to Dave Gagny here that we could use another Donna plus another half a person, and she doesn't want the job to go full time. There's certainly a need for that job to go full time. So I'm just wondering about why you're saying that. And are you qualified to say that? You're new to the job and you're trying to learn and stuff, but certainly there's a need, probably, in my opinion, for I know it ain't going to happen, another full-time clerical or senior, whatever it is, and maybe another part-time person. with the work duties that we have here, the more that we can do in-house, the more we'll save, hopefully with a vendor, you never know. But with the vacations and everything else, and in my opinion, it would be, I know a lot of assessing teams throughout the Commonwealth, they've scaled down, but there's not a lot, like if, you walk into Bridgewater, East Bridgewater, they got a whole army sitting there,
I'll follow up on it, Mr. Chairman.
Was that a question actually to me to answer?
Yeah, I know, you said right away, you aren't in favor of making the job full-time.
Right, and I'm not. And I had that conversation with John. And when I had that conversation with him over the phone, I said I have certain reservations about it. I gave him some of my examples for it. He sent me an email of why it was needed. I emailed back again, never got a response. There are several things I've asked for that I haven't gotten. I'm still waiting for comp time. I think the office, let me finish, please. I let you speak.
Okay.
I feel there's some mismanagement and things could be done in a little better fashion. So I'm not prepared to say that, yes, that is going to fix our problems in there right now.
Nope. Nobody said it was going to fix problems. I'm saying on the tasks, that are clerical related and such. Talking about John's comp time is one thing. It's got nothing to do with making the senior clerk position or a junior clerk, whatever it is, full-time or part-time. Nobody's trying to fix anything that's wrong. And, in my opinion, you have your opinion of what's wrong, what's right. In my opinion, as I wrote to the town manager the other day, all things being equal, things are going pretty good. Once in a while we have a few bumps in the road, but the filling of the job full-time has nothing to do with the principal assessor.
Well, I just think that the office isn't being run as effectively as it could be. And I have my reservations about it, and I have tried to have conversations with John about it to get on board with that whole thing, and I'm not convinced that that is the best thing. And especially at town meeting last year, or 2 years ago, we stood there and said that when we hired John as full-time, we'd be able to save money, and so far we haven't been able to on that.
That has nothing to do with, I'm not gonna, you're not, we're not on the same wavelength here.
No, you have your opinion and I have mine, and I respect your opinion.
But we're talking about a clerical position that he mentioned some of the tasks, and there's a lot more to it than that. With him, I'm talking about, for example, we have a case now pending, and we're spending considerable money to have experts, which I didn't really want to do that, but we had to. I was talking about in terms of his profession, being licensed, overlooking the vendor, taking dismantling INEs, checking the quality of work. Nothing to do with processing abatement applications or excise. That's clerical. In my opinion, I was talking about the function in the office for the principal is obviously to oversee those people, but where I'm coming from in saving money was Patriot doesn't do applications for abatements or send out exemptions or talk to people at the counter. I'm talking about really the meat of the task for the principal assessor. Yes, that stuff does interweave with it a little bit, but I'm not talking about giving John more money so we save money at the counter. It's really with the vendor. And that's kind of worked out. They've kept their kind of. I can't really give you X and O's, but on their 3-year contract, I believe it's remained the same the last couple of years at the $28,000, not including their licensing. So you have a different idea of what I'm talking about when I say, quote unquote, save money. If he has the time and effort with a full-time clerk and a part-time or something else to dive into those INEs, which I used to do in Brockton, it takes a lot of time. We're spending money on them on something that maybe could be brought in-house and other things like that. Doing sales analysis. That's what I was talking about. More of the general certified, the assessing, why is this worth that versus the counter, which is probably even more important. But that's why, we have the clerks and learn their job and hopefully everything runs all right.
Well, yes, I understand the clerks do stuff that's different than John. I understand what you're saying. But at town meeting, you said we would be saving money when we brought him full-time.
Okay, how long has he been here? Right, he's been here a couple of years. You have to give it a chance. And I think we kind of have. I can't put it in dollars cents, but how many times have you been to the ATB for us, John? 4 or 5?
Several times.
Yeah, okay, several times.
I really don't want to get into an
Right.
evaluation of my job performance, Mr. Chairman.
No, I'm trying to prove my point here.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman.
Unfortunately, when people don't see the cash register receipt, and, again, you haven't been doing that long, and you're not into that, but I'm just saying that there's intangibles there, like, for example, him going into the board where a lot of people in this position aren't qualified. That itself is a substantial reason why we're saving money.
However, I do want to state, for the record, that I appreciate the board's support, which you've stated many times in writing. I don't think this is an agenda item,
Right.
Mr. Chairman.
I just want
I'm
to
concerned
I thought
it
it
may
should
be
be
a
done.
violation of the open
Yes.
meeting law.
That's right.
So
Should be
if
an
we could get
executive
back-
session.
Okay.
To the subject, I will follow up on the evaluation of the workload in the office.
Sure.
And I will communicate to you by email, and if the board wants to have a meeting next week, as opposed to 2 weeks from now, you can make that decision.
Well, then I would like it put on the next agenda, because Steve asked me a question, so I responded. So if that conflicts with open meeting, that's fine, I'm okay with it. But I'd like it then on the agenda, because you asked a question about my concerns, and then I'd like the opportunity then to speak my piece. I think it's only fair, since you did ask.
Whatever, it's fine.
So I think that's all I have for my report. Your budget meetings and the status of the vacancy. You have correspondence, I have a couple of warrants here for your signatures. There were some other bills and warrants, an application for chapter land classification that needs to be signed.
And speaking of which, these aren't marked whether granted or denied,
Okay.
so I did not
I'll
sign
review
them.
those.
And this one, I cannot sign.
Okay, and what about
That one was checked off, so that one I did sign, so that has 2 signatures.
Did you pass that one? And you can't sign this one?
Correct.
If you pass that way, please.
What's that?
Do you want to sign?
Yeah.
And I don't have any minutes for the board's review or acceptance. So the only other thing I have, Mr. Chairman, are applications for abatement
Okay.
relative to purpose 7 and pending appellate tax board cases relative to purposes 3 and 7. So a motion to go into executive session would be in order.
Well, before that, I just want to confirm, so then my request to be on the agenda then for the next meeting is going to be on there?
For what purpose? I'm not sure I understand the purpose of the agenda.
Well, Steve questioned my opinion and why I felt that the position should not go full-time at this point. And during my response, you felt that we may be in violation of open meeting law since it was not on the agenda. But although technically it might have fallen under your assessor's report,
For the part-time position, filling the vacancy of the part-time position, yes.
so that may just actually be under that, but if you feel it's open meeting violation, that's fine. But I'd like to make sure then that I'm gonna be on the agenda for the next meeting, so we can have a
Whatever
conversation.
you need, Paula, whatever you need. No problem.
Thank you.
So for the full-time versus part-time position, correct?
That's fine, thank you. And one other thing, which, and this goes back to the last meeting, we had a brief conversation about the budget. And I'd emailed you a couple of times looking for the prior couple of years' budgets, and I had questions about them. And I never heard back from you. And I said that I would go along with the budget, but I had some questions. So right now, I can't go along with the budget because I don't have answers to my questions.
But I did respond, and I did say it's in the annual report.
Right, you told me I
For
could go
prior
look in the
years,
annual report form, which I don't happen to have.
Okay.
So that's why I'd asked you
I can get copies of those.
for a couple of copies of the prior year budgets because I had some questions.
I can do that.
So, but as of right now, I do not at the moment support the budget.
So a motion, Mr. Chairman, to go into executive session, I believe is in order.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing FY20 abatement applications and any pending discussions on pending appellate tax court cases.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Roll call, Mr. Chairman.
Assessor Bunker?
Yes.
Assessor Smith?
Yes.
McCarthy, yes.
All right, that goes back to you.